Hey, what's up guys? It's time for the big Blanca breakdown video. This is intended to get you guys all caught up and everything that we know about Blanca till this point, so you guys can have a good head start on Blanca when he finally releases next week. So first off, I'd like to give a shout out to Winner Stays On for showcasing Blanca and getting this information to us. So let's get started. First off, let's talk about Blanca's stats. He's got 1000 health and 1000 stun, so average. We also get to see his taunt, and during his taunt, Blanca scratches his behind and he says, "You attract flies." Moving on to Blanca's throws now, let's start with his forward throw. This does 130 damage and 150 stun. You're also plus 13 on hit, which means you can't get a dash after, no surprise there. And you land pretty far away from your opponent, so I doubt you'll get any throw loops. Now his back throw, this one does 130 damage as well, but you get 200 stun for this one. And you're plus 10. You land pretty much the same distance away as his forward throw. Alright, let's talk about Blanca's normal attacks now. Let's start with his punch attacks. So his standing light punch, this starts up in 5 frames. It looks faster, but yeah, it does start in 5 frames. And it's also plus 2 on block, and it is cancelable. We see some, combos such as standing light punch into electricity or Blanca ball. Then we have standing medium punch. This is a decent range poke. One of the further ones, it's plus 3 on hit, but you cannot cancel out of it, so it's strictly just for neutral. Now we have Steinhardt Punch. This is a crush counter that puts the opponent into a spin state, and you can do things like jungle hop from it into a standing hard kick, for example. Basically, you can confirm it into some type of jungle hop to get in and land a lot of damage. It's also minus 6 on block, so it's relatively dangerous to use. And it is cancelable. Like I said, you can go into the hop from this. You can even go into another Steinhardt Punch too. And we see some things like Steinhardt Punch canceled into electricity, or V-skill into the punch that we've seen in the trailer too, outside of the crush counter. Next up we have Blanca's crouching light punch. This is a 4-frame startup, so Blanca does not have any 3-frame light attacks. This is plus 2 on block, and it is cancelable, but you cannot link this into a standing light punch because it's only plus 4 on hit, and the standing light punch is 5 frames. Moving on to Blanca's crouching medium punch. This is a really important normal attack. This is your primary anti-air, and it's minus 3 on block if you were to use it as a poke, but it is cancelable, so this allows some really cool setups with the jungle hop after you anti-air somebody, and then you can make them guess on what side you're on. Now we have crouching hard punch. This is another crush counter. This is a knockdown type crush counter, so if you use it in neutral, it doesn't look like you can get much off of it. It is pretty long range, this poke in general, but you cannot cancel out of it. Okay, moving on to kick attacks now. Let's start with this standing light kick. So supposedly this hit's really meaty, so it might have a lot of active frames. Gonna have to check that out. It's also plus 4 on hit, but you can't cancel out of it, but I guess it doesn't really matter since it's plus 4, it means you can link into his lights. Now let's talk about a standing medium kick. This looks like one of his best normals because it does 2 hits, it's a long confirm, and it's plus 2 on block, so you can really abuse this. And it's plus 3 on hit. However, if you get a counter hit with this, even though it does 2 hits, you'll still get the counter hit bonus, so it's plus 5 on counter hit. You cannot cancel out of this, but it doesn't really matter anyways because of the frame advantage you get on hit, and this also easily leads into his new target combo. Now for Blanca's standing hard kick, this is also a crush counter. If you guys haven't noticed, every single one of Blanca's heavy normals is a crush counter. So this is a launcher type, launches the opponent up in the air for a juggle. It might have an anti-air hitbox, but I'm not too sure. You can also easily juggle into super if you get a crush counter with this on confirm. Now for his crouching light kick, this is a fast, low 4-frame attack, and it's plus 4 on hit as well. Easily can convert into a crouching light punch, for example, but you can't cancel out of it. Now for Blanca's crouching medium kick, this is another really important normal attack because it has really easy links from it. This is plus 5 on hit, and of course it hits low, and it's minus 1 on block, so you can't abuse pressure too much with it unless you go into electricity. And yeah, you could just link after with a light punch, or it's cancelable too. Now for your crouching hard kick, this is your classic animation. Not much else to say. I mean, it's your sweep, knocks down the opponent, and the range looks okay. Now for your jumping attacks, I just want to mention 3 of them, starting with his jumping medium kick. This is your primary cross-up attack, and you'll notice that Blanca's jump range, the way the arc is, it's just a little bit different. He goes quite high actually, but the cross-up seems fine. Blanca's jumping hard punch might have a really good hitbox because he's hitting downwards, and his jumping hard kick has a huge vertical hitbox as well, so that's really nice too. So it might beat or stuff a lot of anti-airs if you do it at the right range. Alright, let's talk about command normals now. Let's start with Blanka's down forward hard punch. This is traditional slide. It hits low and it knocks down the opponent, and it has insane range, and it's super low profile that of course it can go under a lot of attacks, including fireballs. This is a really unique attack in Street Fighter V because the only other character that has a slide like this that can go underneath fireballs and knock down the opponent is probably Dalsum. So very, very strong. You can also cancel V-trigger from this as well to make it safe. And yeah, I'd say it's one of the best anti-fireball tools in the game. Okay, moving on to Blanka's forward medium punch. This is your overhead command normal. This does 2 hits, and each hit does hit overhead. It's +2 on hit, but unfortunately on counter hit, it does not give you any bonus frame advantage, so you cannot combo after this, even on counter hit. You also can cancel this into V-trigger, of course, and it's -6 on block, like most of the other overhead attacks. Finally, Blanka has a new target combo. This is standing medium kick, standing hard kick, standing hard punch. So this is a really easy hit confirmed because the first attack is a medium kick, which does 2 hits, especially when you don't know what side you're on. Most of the time when you're doing jungle hops on your opponent trying to be ambiguous and you don't know if you're left or right, if you start a standing medium kick, you'll have more than enough time to convert this into your target combo without having to worry about charging left or right, for example, if you want to do a standing attack. And the second hit on block is -19, which is massive, but once again, standing medium kick on block is safe, so you don't have to go all the way because it does 2 hits. In the corner, you can actually juggle after the second input into a special attack, and you can also cancel the second hit into a V-trigger as well. Alright, let's talk special attacks now. Let's start with Blanka's rolling attack, his classic Blanka ball. This is charge back and forward punch. And just in case you guys don't know, Blanka is indeed a charge character. So the strength of the Blanka ball determines the distance that you go, and the hard punch version goes full screen. This also causes a knockdown on all versions, and you can do some throw mix-ups as well, like you can use the lower strength to just roll right in front of your opponent and throw him just like he could before. You can use this as a gap closer. You can go into your electricity as well, or any type of normal attack. The EX version causes a juggle state, which allows you to do some additional combos afterwards too. The normal versions are -19 on block, which is huge, but the light strength causes a lot of pushback compared to the hard version. If they block the light Blanka ball, you land really far. You might have some troubles punishing it, but the hard version, you land right in front of your opponent for an easy punch. So you guys might have to go in the lab again on this one if you guys are worried about Blanka. Now for the up version of the Blanka ball, this is charge down and then up kick. The light attack version goes the most horizontal, I would say. The medium is more traditional diagonal arc, and the hard version goes straight up in Street Fighter V. Really weird. The hard kick version is, at least the hard kick version, is a great anti-air. All versions cause a knockdown and hit, like the forward version. And the EX up ball is an invincible anti-air attack. It can also be used as a reversal, so Blanka does have an invincible reversal, and because of that, the opponent can crush counter this on recovery. Alright, moving on to Blanka's backstep roll. This is his rainbow ball. This is with charge back and then forward and kick. So Blanka does a quick step backwards on startup, and then he rolls forward in an arc. So the strength determines the distance that he travels, and this is not a knockdown and hit. In fact, if Blanka hits you with this, he can combo you afterwards with links. So really crazy. The EX version can be controlled in the air with directions left or right, and this also does not cause a knockdown on hit, allowing combos afterwards. The EX version cannot cross up the opponent, which is a good thing. That'd be crazy, but in V-Trigger 1, it can cross you up. This is also plus on block on top of all of this, which is insane. The regular versions are plus on block at least. So depending on the angle, I've seen it go up to +6 on block. So really scary. That means the opponent has to stop you before you actually make contact. So this will be a really good pressure tool to use. And if you also, this puts the opponent to a juggle state if you hit them in the air with this attack, allowing you to follow up with a combo as well. Alright, moving on to Blanka's signature special, his Electric Thunder, his Electricity. This is done by mashing punch. So on the WSO stream, they say this is done with 5 punch inputs, but on the Unity stream, they say it's 4 punch inputs, so I'm curious on what it really is. By the way, this is the only way you can do this, really important. There is no alternate motion for this, like Chun-Li, for example. You have to mash punch. If the final input is 2 punches at the same time, then of course you'll get the EX version of his Electricity. Supposedly there is no strength to this special. And if that's the case, that means pad users shouldn't worry too much about, any type of piano motion or mash method. They should all work with this because it doesn't matter what button you end this with your mash. So if you continue to mash this special, then Blanka will keep the move active as well, like he always did. And the electricity is +3 on block, which is huge, making this a very strong pressure tool. I'm very pleased to hear that. You can also remain quite close to the opponent, but not quite in throw range. It's just a little bit of pushback on it, but not enough that the opponent is not scared afterwards. The EX version also allows a juggle afterwards, bigger combos when you use the EX version. Finally, Blanka has a brand new special attack done with half circle back and punch called Wild Hunt, and this is a command grab. So really crazy. This is a jumping type command grab, not your traditional kind. So this is more like Birdie's Bull Revenger or is like Dolphin Dive. So the strength determines the distance that you jump, and it even goes over fireballs. You go really high up in the air, it can even dodge low attacks as well. I see one of the strengths do 170 damage and 200 stun, not sure which strength that was, and the EX version does 190 damage with 200 stun, so it is quite damaging. You can even easily tick throw into this, making it really scary, and just gives another layer to Blanka's offense. The EX version is projectile invincible, giving Blanka yet another tool against zoners. Honestly, I think Blanka has like the most anti-zoning tools in the game. Whoops, I almost forgot about one more special move, and that's Blanka's Jungle Hops. So this is done by pressing forward or back and 3 kicks at the same time. So first off, you can cancel these from your V skill, your Coward Crouch, so you can crouch down and then hop right out of it. This also moves pretty good distance, much further than his dash, and it also hops through the opponent, and that's really important for a lot of his left and right mix-ups. Keep in mind, if you just press 3 kicks by itself and not a direction, Blanka will not hop forward. Instead, he'll just do his hard kick. So you do have to press left or right. I'm not sure if that's a big deal. You can also cancel out of normals out of this, making it just harder for your opponent to react to when you're doing your hops. The back hop in particular might be useful, just stay unpredictable and also quickly get away if you're really low on health or really high on stun. So boom, that's it guys, at least for his basic move list. In the next video, we're going to go really in detail on his V system. So far I'm pretty impressed with his normal attacks, good neutral pokes, his slide looks really dangerous, and a lot of anti-zoning tools for sure. And Blanka's a lot more combo heavy as well, and that command grab looks scary and just a lot of pressure, especially since electricity is +3 on block. Big deal. Let me know how you guys feel about Blanka so far in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe to the channel guys, and of course like the video, it really helps out, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.